What's going on, guys? Teen Mechanic here. Today is actually kind of an exciting day, even though there is some repetition involved. It's another video on the LTD. Actually, I don't. Oh yeah, I did do a YouTube short on it. I just briefly went through the radiator. It didn't explode, but it started hissing and gushing coolant, and I actually figured out where it was leaking from. I don't have the other with me, but I do have the new one. And where it started leaking from was up by the upper radiator hose, but it was right here in the fins. So, it was no good anymore. But I took it out and I brought it into the shop, and I just kind of wanted to bring it in there. It was kind of cool, But today we're gonna install this. This is an aluminum radiator. Here, let me unbox this. Here we go. There you go. Look at that. Holy cow. Okay, so this is the new radiator. It is all aluminum. Now, the options were a plastic radiator, which was like $150. It was super cheap, but it had plastic side tanks. I think the core singular was aluminum, but the side tanks were plastic. And I like to sell my cars with a Joseph guarantee. You know, I don't want anyone to drive down the road and then have a side tank, separate and then start gushing on them. So this one here is, I think it was $275 out the door, but it was. I got it on Rock Auto, and it's all aluminum, pressure tested, Leland Global. I've heard good and bad things about them. They're not bad. But anyway, if you guys have had experiences with them, I'd like to hear them in the comments. But anyway, my other one was a thick 3-core, and each core was about a 1/2 inch. This is a almost 2-inch. I think it's 1.2 inch actually, but it's 1 core. So I'm fine with that. 1 core is fine. I'm not doing anything crazy on the with this. So it's probably almost close to what that other one was. And it had stop leak residue on it. So someone had probably tried to use stop leak, which concerns me. But I have had this engine all apart. So I didn't see any in there. So maybe it's not stop leak. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get this in there. The mounts look like they should work. And then I'm going to go ahead and throw some coolant, even the transmission cooler lines, all that lines up. So, I'm excited to do it. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. Okay, so we're all set up here. This is the shroud. This has to go in first, or else the radiator won't fit. That goes right about there, give or take. Somewhere. And then the radiator just drops in. It's pretty easy. Alright, so here's the radiator. Let's go ahead and drop her in here. Move hose. There we go. Nice. Look at that. Fits like a glove. Oh, that's awesome. That makes me happy. Okay. That's awesome. The only problem is this doesn't fit as it should. I guess it's just gonna have to be a little further recessed than I would like, but that's okay. I'll just make sure nobody puts their hands right here while it's running. Man, that's actually kind of dangerous though. Like that's really not ideal. I don't know. I'm just gonna live with it for now. I'm gonna have to just see. I mean, who is gonna put their hand there when it's running? Honestly, only I would ever do something like that. So I guess what I'm going to do now is just get the lower radiator hose on, transmission lines on the upper, and that's really it. Then there's just these brackets, and that's seriously it. Honestly, this is... Oh, shoot. Yeah, that doesn't fit. But whatever. I don't know. I'll figure it out. It's not going to be a big deal. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get these hoses on, and we'll see. If I have to, I'll use zip ties to hold it together. I'm going to have this thing running. Now, I don't think you guys need to see me put the hoses on, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that off camera. Okay, so it's now a couple of hours later, and it didn't take me that long to put it back together. Went and grabbed a Christmas tree. But this here is all put back together. Pretty straightforward, boring stuff. Just put the 2 hoses and the lines on, the cooler lines. This shroud, I have it zip tied on, and just have to be careful of that fan. These brackets are too loose. I mean, this one is way closer than this one, but I'm going to see if I can get one of my friends to go ahead and fabricate a couple of brackets that fit this radiator for me. And if I can, that would be great. And then it will be fit properly. This, I'm going to go ahead and fill this with coolant now. And this is a spill-proof funnel, but I lost the plunger or the plug, so I'm gonna see if I can find that. If I can't, it's no big deal. But anyway, let's go ahead and get some coolant in this guy. And I should take this time just to let you know I cleaned out this garage somewhat. I mean, the Cadillac I had it moved out, and there's not crap everywhere now. I've got this nice heater going, and I even have a TV in here, and yeah, I'm watching Suits. But yeah, no, it's kind of cool. Anyway, so I can't find the damn plunger or the plug for that thing, so I'm just gonna try and pour it in and just gauge it well. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and, like, worst case scenario, maybe I'll just use, in fact, maybe it's even easier just to use like a cut-off bottle, because then I can see how tall it is and or how high that level is. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Also, I just need to say, you're gonna see it anyway. I'm using some very, very cheap coolant. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just, it's cheap, and I mean it's gonna be fluorescent green. I can already see it, so it's not like the Prestone stuff that looks nice and kind of crystally and beautiful. Nice going. Okay, so I was just thinking, as soon as I start it, the water pump will probably suck the coolant down and the level will go down. But there was actually still like 90% of the coolant still in the system, because all I did was take the radiator out. That's a lot of coolant, but all of the coolant that was in the block and throughout all of the kind of cylinder walls and everything is still there. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can start this thing up and see what happens. So let's do that. Okay. Hey, it's not so bad. Okay. Well, I'll add what little I have left, which isn't much. Yeah. Hey, there we go. That's good. I'm kind of hoping it stays right around there, and if it does, I'm gonna wait till the thermostat opens up, and then we'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, no, she's running well. That's good. Okay. All right, I'm gonna wait this out a bit. Okay, so a lot has happened since, well, that last clip, and actually it's the next night, and there were a couple obstacles I had to overcome. Now, those were off camera, unfortunately, but let's go ahead and open this up here. And you can see, I mean, it's not really the finished product, because I forgot to put the brackets back on, so I'll do that. But yeah, so basically what happened is I got it running, and it was running well. And the last clip you saw was the coolant. And I actually tried to get all the air bubbles out I could, but this coolant here, it kept expanding, and, I got all the air bubbles that I possibly could out. So it's full of coolant now. So I figured I'd see if I could get it rolling. So what happened is it was rolling, and it just stalled, just died. And I didn't know why. So anyway, I tried to start it. It would just crank, and it wouldn't go. So that kind of, I looked under the car. I didn't even have to look under. I just looked at the, down. I was standing over there-ish, not not actually there, the car, but I was standing like there in a scale of the car, so all I had to do was kind of look that direction, and I saw a dripping puddle of coolant underneath. So obviously that's quite a frustrating feeling to see, you know, your brand new aluminum radiator leaking coolant, but it was. So I was just praying that it wasn't the radiator, and sure enough, it was the hose, the lower radiator hose. Just the clamp wasn't tight enough. So I was really happy about that. It was just the clamp, so I tightened it down, and yeah, that seemed to fix the leak. Now it's stalled because it was out of gas. So no big issue, but just little extra grief this thing has to give me. That's how it goes. But anyway, I think that's about it. But let's go ahead and start it up. Yeah, I'm going on the passenger side because it's just too much work getting in the other way. There you have it. Running on our own. Listen to it purr now. Yep. She runs well. And it's you know what, I'm not even gonna say it. You know, I've never been a believer in superstitious stuff like, oh, it's finally running well after all that. I'm not gonna say it this time. I've said it like a mockery the last several times. I'm just not gonna. I mean, who knows what the hell this thing is gonna throw at me next. So screw that. But you can see no more leaks. Anyway, this thing is running well now. Just look at this. Man, it's running so well. I like even just sitting here running. There was a time where I thought that this would never happen. The engine was sitting over there on a piece of plywood, and I mean, it was ripped apart, and this car, I just thought, nah. I didn't even have the motivation to get the engine around front. Like, I just let it sit. I contemplated scrapping the car, and I am so glad I didn't. Like, I'm just so thrilled. Also, guys, worth mentioning, the heat works fantastic. It warms up I did have it running earlier, but it warms up pretty darn quick, I must say. And man, it just needs some gas, but it doesn't rev the smoothest when it's, you know, as cold as it is. It's not that cold, but it, you know. Anyway, absolutely awesome that this thing is running as well as it is. So I'm so glad this is taken care of for the time being, if you know what I mean. We'll see. I hope it doesn't throw anything else at me. Just knock on wood. Anyway, that is going to do it for this video. I thought I'd bring it to you anyway. There's not a whole lot that really happened, but, you know, there's not a cap to what you can get on YouTube. I try and get as much as I possibly can on, and I've really been slacking lately, so I figured I may as well just bring this to you. Anyway, that's pretty much going to do it. In the next video, we'll see. I've found some old videos on my Google Photos account. We'll see if I can get those edited together. Maybe I'll have a throwback video. We'll see. I mean, I don't know if that'll happen, but if it can, that'll be pretty cool. But anyway, if you liked the video, give it a like. If you didn't, give it a dislike. But let me know in the comment section below how I can improve, and let me know what you want to see. I'm hoping I have some relatively cool content coming to the channel pretty soon. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.